Hello, my name is Randy Cryle. I'm 51 and live in Ohio. This is my plant food revolution story. Who remembers the Tim McGraw song, "Live Like You Were Dying"? I sure do. That one came out in 2004, the same year I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer at age 42. The lyrics to that song really spoke directly to me. They go, "I was in my early 40s with a lot of life before me, and a moment came that stopped me on a dime. My moment was when the surgeon said, 'We found a little cancer.' I couldn't even get the C word out of my mouth to tell my wife." Have you ever tried to explain to a 2-year-old what cancer is? Terrified that I might not get to see my children grow up, I asked the surgeon, how does a relatively young, healthy guy get this kind of cancer? And he pretty much threw his arms up in the air and said, "For all we know, it falls out of the sky." I was fortunate. 2 surgeries and 1 radiation treatment later, everything looked pretty good. It was just a matter of an annual body scan to check for cancer. However, fear and confusion prevailed for a few years, as I knew that former cancer patients were more likely to develop another cancer. Slowly, I was reclaiming my good health, really on a relentless search for the truth behind the disease. In 2009, I ran my first marathon, and then in early 2010, found a book called Born to Run, a bestseller, where I learned about Dr. Ruth Heydrich, who cured or healed from her stage 4 breast cancer over 30 years ago with an all plant-based diet. I was frustrated with some of the progress that I was not making, contacted her directly. She could not have been more kind and helpful. Within about a week of asking Ruth quite a few questions, I completely flipped over to an all plant-based diet. I expect to stay on that diet as long as I'm alive now. Ruth's decades of proven wisdom were just simply invaluable. After implementing her ideas, my energy improved, my attitude improved, I could run further, I could run faster, my vision improved, I was able to finally flush my cholesterol medication down the drain. So the real story here is a transformation from cancer, fear, and pain to hope, joy, happiness, and great health. Naturally, I wanted to share this great information I was learning with people. However, it's not super easy to get people to listen. People seem to be conditioned to not even listen to the signals their own bodies are sending them. The speakers and guests at the Food Revolution Summit have traits that are all too uncommon: intelligence, open-mindedness, and self-discipline. We who have broken away from the cultural norm, we're the people who can help spread the idea of a plant-strong or all-plant diet until it reaches a tipping point both here in America and around the world. When enough of us get focused on what we want and avoid thinking about what we don't want, that's when magic will happen. After switching my diet to all plants, one of the first books I read was John Robbins' Healthy at 100, and wow, it helped me change the way I think about everything from people, money, healthcare, religion, politics. I love the entire book, Healthy at 100. One part that comes to mind is his writing about GDH, or gross domestic happiness. Boy, there's something we should all become more focused on. As I was reading John Robbins' book, there was Dr. Ruth Heydrich's story again. As it turns out, she's been featured in about 50 books. And I've watched quite a few of John and Ocean Robin's videos, and really wanted to become a small part of this ongoing food revolution. It already seems like a lifetime ago that I was so misguided relative to food and health. And I sure do wish somebody could have taught me this before I had the cancer. Cancer was such a great teacher, but ultimately I'd like to help some people avoid that detour. This is our dog, Snickers. She kind of became involved in my experiments with truth serendipitously. She's very healthy and now nearly vegan, and has been for quite some time. So there is room for a dog food revolution as well. Not only does April 26th kick off the Food Revolution Summit, but it's our youngest daughter's birthday, and I will attempt to run 100 miles starting at 7 a.m. that day at the C&O Canal 100-mile race, 30-hour time limit. If I make it, it will be largely because of an all plant-based diet, definitely not in spite of that. Every day for the rest of my life, I take a tiny blue pill to replicate what my thyroid used to produce. It's like a rock in my shoe, sort of a painful reminder to stay on the right path. And I guess my closing comment would be to not wait for that teachable moment. Switch to an all plant-based diet now.